Okay, so we are going to kind of talking about a variety of things today, but the first thing we're going to go through is we have Tracy Winkle from Therap on the phone right now, and she is going to be doing a training and walking through some of the modules on the provider side of Therap. And the reason that we are kind of going through all of those for you is that we are working on getting all of those modules open to program managers. So you guys can finally go in, look at, I don't know, T-logs, what are some other? Nurse notes, data. Yes, data, the whole gamut. So, and this kind of, I think, kind of help push you with, we kind of are also tying it in with the whole outlier process as well, because part of the outlier requirements is that there has to be, for us anyway, to approve data and information to kind of support their criteria that they're submitting for an outlier reason. And up here at the state office, we're able to, if the provider says that this information is located within Therap, we sure can easily go in and check it out. But then when it's at like the program administrator review, they don't have access to that. So that is also to kind of help all you program administrators out with your outlier approval process. And then, like I said, it's also for program managers then to be able to use for anything related to the QER or any ongoing monitoring, or if you just kind of want to check into something. So we are going to have Tracy kind of go through that side of kind of where things are, what things will be available, how to access it. I don't know as far as, with you, Wendy, as far as the timeline for when that is. We don't know timeline
quite yet and stuff as far as the modules and everything, because I know we do user stats, and so we get in every month what providers are in what modules and everything. So then that way we'll identify that list for each region, so then you guys know that, hey, it's in here for one provider, but somebody else might not be documenting it in that same area, or they might not be using that module yet. So we just want to let you guys know then per region where people will be able to find things.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to display my screen so everybody can then see what Tracy is doing. So hang tight. I'll let you know, Tracy, when I'm up and running for everybody. Okay, I think it's up on my screen. Okay. Let me see. I think I'm going to make this a little, can I make it bigger?
And if you guys could do sign-in sheets in each one of the regions, I don't know if Colette had sent those out. Tracy just wants to have a copy of who's all attended and everything.
Okay, I do have you displaying now, Tracy. Is there a way you can make your screen a little bit bigger so we can?
How's that? Is that a little bit better?
Maybe just, yeah. Yes, that's perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
This arrow?
Yeah.
Okay, I think we're ready to go, Tracy.
Okay. So just to kind of let you know, what I'm in is I am in a demonstration oversight account, and this is for New Mexico, but this is still going to kind of follow what you have. So instead of over here seeing like the GER resolutions, you're still going to see your normal screen with your OSPs. Up here, where it says switch provider, this is where you're going to go ahead and click. And what it's going to do is it's going to then show you all of the providers that you have access to based on your caseload. So like on this one, because it's a demo account, then they use a case management account, and then here's like our demonstration account. So if I want to go into this first one, that's just this link 1, New Mexico, This is what it's going to look like for just a regular provider account. So basically, when they go in, this is what they see. It automatically goes into the admin tab because that's what I have access for. Otherwise, normally what you see right now is if you switch over, you see this individual page. And this is probably what you see right now, but you're not going to see everything that's on this page. So as you're given access, here's like T-logs, here's your GERs, but instead of being able to see like new, you're just going to have like the search button. So if I go into GERs and search, I can go in here and I'm just going to put in the start of an individual's name, Olivia Davis. And I'm going to click on search. And then here it brings up a GER that's available for her. So now I can click on this GER and I can see exactly what was written. So here's just the basic events. She's walking down the hallway. There's no abuse, neglect, or exploitation. Here's all the event information. And the diagram, and then the summary. And then down here is the actions taken. If there's any type of attachments, then you would see those attachments here. But that's the GER going in from a provider's account. The other really nice thing is here on the individual, you have ISP data. So if the provider is using the ISP program, this is where they're going in and they're putting information against that program. So if I go in and just do a search, and again, I'm just going to use Olivia. She's the one person I have access to in this demo account. And down here, I'm just going to search. I'm just going to leave this as the 6/10 date. Let me come back in here. And I'll put it in from 6/1 because I know I have data in here for her. Now it comes in and it shows me, here's everything that's been charted for Olivia. I can then go in and I can just click on anywhere on this line where you see that hand. And here's her ISP program. So her program name is Exercise. If you click on it, it's going to open up her program so you can see the program that was created. Here's the scoring details. And then here's the 2 tasks. And then here's the information that was collected. So for this specific day, she walked for 15 minutes and she did the exercise bike for 10 minutes. If there's any type of comments, you would see the comments down here in the bottom. The nice thing about ISP data is if the providers are using this, you can go in and you can look at a report. So if I click on this report button, it's going to ask you to select the individual that you want to see this for. And then because I only have one program, this is my only option. Now, if there's multiple programs, you would be able to select the specific program you wanted to look at. And then I'm just going to click on Next. Now it takes me into report criteria. So the first thing we're going to look at is a programmatic report. I'm just going to put in a date range. And then the next, I'm going to select my review period. The nice thing about this is you can look at it from a day, a week, a month, quarter, year. It just depends on what you're putting in for your start and end date. I just want to look at this for a week. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select on my score showing option of percentage or trial count. I want to say both so I can see what the percentage and what the count is. Under the selected ISP program, when it asks you to select your task or score, this is where you can go in, and I'm just going to click on it so you can see this. This allows you to see if there's something specific that you want to look at. So if you just wanted to see everything that was maybe she was doing for 5 minutes, or if there's a specific task, let's just say we want to see how long is she doing the walking for. That's saved. Now I'm going to click on next. And here's the report. So up here is kind of your, tells you what these abbreviations are. So here's your S for score, C for trial count. And then here is what it is. So there's 2 where she walked for 5 minutes. So your baseline here, these are your scores. So just looking at it over a week, 40% of the time she was walking for 5 minutes for this week. Going to this next week, you can see that it was just for one time, it was 100%. And then it's going here on your total, it's adding up those percentages. So when you're looking at this over a long period of time, especially when you're setting goals, you're able to come in here and actually see how they're doing against that goal and are able to set. So if you had a goal that said over 6 months, I want to see them doing 65% of the time, 5 minutes, you're going to be able to look at that right here and then know they've met that goal. We need to kind of change this up a little bit. Down here, you can save the report. It allows you to go in and you can do it as a table, a bar graph, a line graph. So there's different options. And then you can also close this without saving. What I want to do is I want to show you some of the different report options. So I showed you the programmatic. Here's your data collection. And on this, you notice your screen changes. So I'm going to show this just for June. And then I'm going to click on next. So what this now shows you is down here. And this is something the agency can be looking at, is whether or not the staff is running this program. And then it's going to show the last person that ran the program. So for this profile, the username is actually Mia Cole. So that's what the MC is for. That's the initials. And then down here is your key. You have your clinician. So here, if I was using begin time and end time, it would show us duration. I didn't set this one up, but if that's how it's set up, then it gives you that information and any comments. And then the last one is the HAB documentation. So there's different ways to look at this. So this will be really nice, especially if that provider is using ISP, to be able to come in and kind of really look at this information. So to get out of it, it's just like everything else. I'm just going to come back up here to dashboard, and I'm just going to click on dashboard. So the other things that you're going to have underneath this individual plan is you can access the behavior plan. So you can do a search. Again, I'm just going to put in Olivia's name. And then here, I'm just going to click on the behavior plan that's available. And then this is the behavior plan that was created. Down here at the bottom, we're going to go into a section called Individual Support Plan. So here's the Personal Focus Worksheet. So if there was one created, so this will go with the individual plan again, and I don't think there's one in here. But again, it's just going in and you have the ability to search. One of the things you are going to want to do is, if the providers are using this, just double check with them where they're storing that information. I'm going to move over to the Health tab. So I'm just going to click on Health. This is going to be very nice because now you can come in, and if there's certain things that you want to be able to track, here's like appointments. You can look at what appointments they're putting on the calendar for the individual. If they're monitoring blood glucose, height and weight. So you have all of these different options that they can use. If they're doing, if you're tracking seizures. So if I click on seizures and search, and here it just wants a submit date. So again, I'm just going to use it as 6/10. So this automatically populates to where you have a month time frame. And then here's a seizure record. So I can just open this up and I could just take a look. So she had a seizure that began at 1:02 p.m. It lasted for 5 minutes. As you scroll down here at the bottom, you've got some reports. So you can actually do a health tracking report. So if I click on monthly, and here's Olivia. And then I click on search. Here's the information. So if this was anything that they were tracking, here's your report of what's been going on the last month. You can also go in and you can say that I want to see this as a detailed report. And I apologize, my computer's a little slow. We had issues with electricity today. And again, I'm just going to use the 630, 6.1 through 6:30. And there's nothing, because there's nothing in here for detailed. Another report you can look at is you can create a healthcare report. So let's see it for Olivia. I'm going to go ahead and just say, I want to see everything. Come down here and create the report. So if there's any diagnosis that was in, you're going to see this displayed. You're going to have your appointments. And then here's every one of those boxes that we checked that we wanted to see. Immunizations, infection, intake and elimination, medication history. Here's procedures. And then you can do comments and recommendations. And then you have still the ability to save this report. So I'll go back down to the bottom. And then I'll just click on that Save button. Okay, we'll try this again. Sorry about that. So as you can see, even as staff, we are not immune to issues with the link to Therap at times. So now I can go, it's successfully saved. So now I can come down here and I can do a search. And here's the report. So that's kind of a really nice feature that you'll be able to have. Any questions so far?
Tracy, this is Wendy. I'm just wondering, as far as giving them access to create the report. So if a provider is using document storage for any of that stuff, I mean, that would probably be my first avenue, is to make sure that the provider didn't already create a report so that I'm not duplicating that as a program manager. So
Correct. And what you and it's going back to just double checking with them if they've created it. It's coming in here and just doing a search for a healthcare report. Because again, we just have to, all you have to do is come in here and do a search if there was something specific you were looking for, if you knew they had those reports.
I don't think that's something you do. You not create a report, but you just gather the information maybe.
Because you can look at information. You don't
can.
have to, you don't create a report. You can get in and look at that. We do that with Pride, but we never have to.
Well, and it looks like you can display printable PDFs. You could print off your thing and then just get back out without saving it or anything like that if you wanted to do it.
Right.
You know, and that's probably what I would do. I would want the provider to do the work.
Yeah, you don't want,
Because, yeah.
you want to create a report and then have it stored in
you
that
would,
side.
I don't know why we would create a
No.
report.
If you have to search in different areas for this stuff on the report, I don't know what's on there, but if you have to search like different areas, maybe if you did a report, it would just list it all on one page. I don't know what exactly is going on here, but that's one of the reasons I run reports. Is what I'm gonna look at this. I run a report and pull it all into one document.
Tracy, with the healthcare report, does that also pull in GERs from the year?
No, it does not.
Okay, I thought there was one report out there that did. Is that the clinician report?
A clinician report, when you start talking about the clinician report, it's just for the ISP data.
Okay.
But there is, for GER reports, if you have access to the agency reports, then you could go in and you would have access, you could pull a report.
That's a bad cough. Can you also show them the individual homepage? Because I think
Yes,
a lot
that
of
was my next.
Perfect.
So when you go into an account, if you haven't accessed the individual homepage, all you're going to have to do is up here at the top, if I just start typing in Olivia, what it's going to do is this is what we call their individual homepage. I personally love this because it gives you immediate access to everything. So here's all of your different modules. So here's like your GERs. You can search for the last week, the last month. You can do a general search. Health tracking. Here again is all of the different items within the health tracking that you can look at. So again, if we were looking specifically at seizures, you could just search. Here's your ISP data. And then again, you can still run a report. It's just for the last 30 days, but you've got access right here. And if you wanted to take a look at what their ISP programs were, that's going to be access. And again, with T-logs. You've got the information here that you can go directly to their individual data. So basically their IDF, their health passport. Here's their actual ISP program. We've got an area for service authorizations. Here's the counts for GER. So here's like a follow-up. Up here at the top, we can go into their profile, and it's going to show you, you know, active allergies, contact information, medications. Here's their plans. So here's like a behavior plan that's been created for them. Here's their individual care plan for seizures, which is really nice. And then we have case status. So here's like their active enrollment date.
But not all providers are using all of that. No. And you're not mandating them to do that. So what we have access to is basically what a provider chooses to use on their Therap, right?
Right. And that's why we
Yeah.
use and stuff so that you would know what modules each provider would be in, where you might be able to gather that data. Or view it prior to, you know, an outlier request or something like that.
And the nice thing that's going to happen, so if I go back to your dashboard and I just say individual home page, it's going to show you all of your recently accessed individuals. So once you add their names in here, once you come back into the account, all you have to do is come down and just click on that individual, and it takes you right into that information. Any other questions that you have? And then again, I mean, once you're done, just come back over here to switch provider. You can go into another provider, or if you want to go back into your home provider page, just click into this logged in users provider home, and you're back in your main home page.
Does anybody have any questions? I'm hearing none.
Okay. Well, we do have this recorded, so I will make sure that we get this put up out on the state page, so that way if anyone wants to go back and kind of review, that'll be up there for you.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we're good then. So thanks a lot, Tracy, for your time.
You're welcome. And if you have any other questions, just let me know.
Okay, will do. And Jennifer, I'll be calling you as soon as we hang up, okay? All right, thanks.
Sounds good. But you can't
Thanks. Have a good day.